It's not just the Panthers that are starting a new era here in Charlotte, although they are in New Orleans. The Washington Commanders are doing the same. They are in Tampa for a late afternoon, dare I say, maybe even nationally televised tilt against the Buccaneers. My friend Chick Hernandez, WUSA TV in D.C., joining us to talk a little bit about, I think that Washington can win that division. Am I crazy?
Those are two different thoughts, Goldie. Two different thoughts. One, you think they could win the division. Surely they can. It's not the strongest division. Two, are you crazy? I think that's a bona fide yes, but we know that already. So, yes, they can, but I have no idea what they're going to bring. I can only say that it's such a 180-degree turn from what we've done over the decades of darkness that there's certainly hope in Burgundy and Gold land, and as someone who's covered this franchise for the almost 30 years, this is the brightest hope. Even when they had Bobby Three Sticks, Mr. Griffin III, there wasn't this kind of this hope with a brand new coaching staff and you know, veterans who were brought in, Zach Ertz from the offensive side and Bobby Wagner on the defensive side, guys who can teach these young guys a thing or two. So, I mean, there's a lot of hope. I'm excited to see what they do. We saw absolutely zippo in the preseason. I mean, Jaden Daniels played 4 drives. That's it. So can't wait to see what Cliff Kingsbury has in store.
Yeah, but, I mean, Jaden Daniels played 4 drives, but he looked impressive in a lot of that. So, how is this marriage of Dan Quinn? I find it fascinating that we have a Dan Quinn coach team with Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator. I don't think you could have two more polar opposites at those two spots.
I agree with you. And we talked with Cliff yesterday, and I think he's a guy who, I'm not going to say humbled when he lost his job, but you know, to be out of the NFL for a couple of years. And to come back in, and he told us yesterday one of the reasons he came back is because Dan Quinn was this kind of stand-up guy who just, you know, is high energy all the time. But as he and Joe Witt Jr., the defensive coordinator, said, don't get it twisted. He demands a lot from all of us, and when we, coach, player, don't deliver, we hear about it. We just don't see it. You know, we haven't seen. I've joked with Coach about it. I'm like, I haven't seen you mad yet. He goes, "You're right, you haven't." But look, I've dealt with enough coaches. Let's see, I've covered 34 quarterbacks for this franchise.
You kidding?
Quarterbacks for this franchise? No, I'm not kidding. And several head coaches. This is the first time, Goldie, that we do a Monday exclusive with the coach, right? So I did it last year with Ron Rivera, and there were a few moments I thought, okay, and he got pissed at me a few times, whatever, because I don't ask soft questions when a soft question doesn't need to be asked,
right? But
this is the first time I had a coach who basically said to me, "Hey, this Monday thing we're doing," and he calls it "Tell the Truth Monday." He goes, "Send me some clips of what you did last year," and I said, "Excuse me?" And he's like, "Send me some clips. I want to see what you did." So I sent him some clips, and he came back with, "I don't like this look in the bubble. I don't like to be sitting in a director's chair." So I said, "Coach, whatever it is you want to do, this is really, you know, both of us, but I want it to be comfortable for you." And he said, "Let's go to my office, take a look, and see if that's a place we can do it." I have never had a coach do that in my life.
Wow.
And so next Monday, we're going to be in his office, and we will do a live hit from his office, and I can't wait to see how it's going to turn out.
Chick Hernandez, WUSA TV in Washington, D.C. is joining us here. Washington will be in Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. So it'll be Jaden Daniels. I like the skill position players. I like Robinson and Eckler in the backfield. I love I think the receiving corps, maybe it's not like super high end, but I think it's varied and versatile and deep. And you mentioned Zach Ertz as the tight end. Is the only real question mark the offensive line?
Absolutely, that's the big question. Brandon Coleman hasn't played yet, really, in the preseason, so that's a big factor. Sam Cosme, the guard, just signed a 4-year extension, and I mean, it was really wild to watch. This was 2 days ago. to watch the other linemen, how they reacted to Sam signing his 4-year extension, how excited they were for him. And so there's a bond there. But no, I think that's the major question mark. And I'm sure that Cliff Kingsbury will try to protect Jaden Daniels as much as he can when it comes to the passing game. But I also think that Cliff's never had two backs like B-Rob, Brian Robinson, and Eckler to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian Robinson, who if fans don't remember, I mean, his rookie season, he was shot in a carjacking and came back 3 weeks later. But then last year, I mean, I think the shooting was, he felt better after the shooting than he did after last year when they didn't use him almost. They were just so underutilized.
Right.
This kid is going to run angry. And in the locker room just yesterday, I started to talk about him being underutilized, and he got a smile on his face. And I said, I see that smile. Is something coming? And he said, I think so. Because I don't know what it's going to be, but I know it's going to be good. So I think Kingsbury is going to use those two backs. Again, Eckler, another veteran who can do so many different things.
Yeah.
And folks don't know that B-Rob can catch. And I wouldn't be surprised to see B-Rob in the kick return game.
Ooh.
Imagine that locomotive coming at you.
Yeah.
So they have enough weapons, and I know that Kingsbury and Joe Witt Jr. on the defensive side haven't shown squat in preseason, which a lot of teams obviously do that. I'm hopeful that we see something. I just tell fans all the time, you won't finish a game and think to yourself, what in God's name was that? It's going to be, I can see what they're trying to do. They didn't execute it, or, oh gosh, blah, 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 but it's a whole new world. It's a whole new world.
Last year, in the middle of the year, the Commanders traded both defensive ends. And my friend James Smith-Williams left the team to sign with Atlanta back in April. I hope people in Washington miss James Smith-Williams as much as we miss him down here in Raleigh. But so how did they replace that? And I love Frankie Louvu, by the way. We saw him with the Panthers last year.
Love him.
I absolutely love Frankie Louvu. So I think their defense, at least in the front seven, could be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think even DQ, Dan Quinn said, I didn't realize how affecting the two tackles were in Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. Because I just, I played against them, but I was on the defensive side for Dallas, what he said last year. But even in the short time that he got a chance to use them in preseason and in practice, he goes, they're just so disruptive. And but we didn't get a chance to see that because I don't know what Jack Del Rio was doing last year, but it certainly wasn't defensive coordinating. No, I think they've got pretty cool weapons back there. And I think one of the X factors is this kid, Jamin Davis, who was a linebacker who they put hands in the dirt this year. And so now he's a hybrid guy who can show his speed, can stop the edge. I think he's a burgeoning star who's learning to play both positions. And Joe Witt Jr. told us, we asked him to do it, or we told him he should do this if he wants to be a player in the National Football League. And Jamin Davis' response was, I wish someone had done this with me a few years ago. So he's embraced it. So I think the big question mark is, again, Emmanuel Forbes at the corner. He's put on 17 pounds. I'm still looking for those 17 pounds, but they say he's put on 17. I know he eats steak every night. He does that.
Okay, so good.
He's a man after my own heart. He's great horizontally, but not vertically, and so that's what they're working on. He's tremendous horizontally. He can cover anybody across the middle, side to side, sideline to sideline, but go deep. There's an issue there, so I'm sure the teams are looking at that and try to pick that apart.
Well, it should be fun, and I'm looking forward to watching. I'm looking forward to talking to you as much as we can.
Sure.
Even though you correctly called me crazy, because that
I didn't call you crazy. You
just agreed with me.
I just confirmed.
The
diagnosis.
Very fair. Very fair. Chick Hernandez, my friend, I appreciate your time. Enjoy Tampa. I know you will, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right, brother man.